But I think we also have to have a different look at the MSME sector in this country. Now, we have a model right now where the state, where the government invests wholly in small business development through subventions to institutions, by establishing a trust loan program that has been doing very well, through the expansion of fund access services to the public, during COVID, through support to small businesses and self-employed, in a case where self-employed individuals were not eligible for unemployment benefit. But the government of Barbados decided that it was important that these people are able to keep their heads above water during this time. And in fact, I dare say that it is guiding the way, the kinds of reforms that the NIS is reviewing at this time. Because I don't think that we can live in a Barbados where people who choose to be self-employed and who choose to chart their own path, if something happens like a pandemic or like a major disaster, that they are not taken care of. So this is a government that has already prioritized small business, has already prioritized entrepreneurship in all the ways that I have just outlined to you, who has borrowed, in fact, to establish a guarantee program through the Central Bank of Barbados, so that any project that seems too risky for a commercial bank, that project will attract a guarantee of up to 80%. And those young people who have ideas that for some reason commercial banks decide are risky because they have their own aversion to a certain level of risk, but that this Barbados Labour Party government established a second guarantee program through the Central Bank of Barbados, so that those commercial banks who are risk averse and shy can have that lending guaranteed up to 80% to those individuals who have ideas that can be groundbreaking for this country and for this region and for this world. But we have to go further than that, because I don't think that we can hold on to a model that just sees the state making transfers to the small business sector in the traditional ways that we've done it. I've said for some time now that this country needs a national development bank. Now, there is an institution called the Enterprise Growth Fund Limited that in many ways is meant to be that kind of institution. That institution has had lots of experience over decades in lending for small business development. This is one of those moments, comrades, where we have to go further, where what we have done so far is simply not enough. And it is not to suggest that the institutions that we've had up to this time have not served for the time that they were with us. But Barbados needs the kind of national development bank for entrepreneurship and for social entrepreneurship, so social investment in people and their well-being, that is going to take us to the next level. We need a development bank that is going to be able to give loan financing, including working capital, to protect cash flow. We need a development bank that's going to be involved in venture capital. We need a development bank that's going to be involved in equity capital. So right now, the model that we have is if you want to grow your business, you come and get a loan. And that single tool for business development does not work in any part of the world. We need to develop new instruments for real entrepreneurship. When we talk about startups, when we have this language of small business and we think that it could only look a certain way, it is one person, perhaps a single employee. We need to be in the business of identifying high growth companies. We need to be in the business of identifying transformational ideas that we can find, go and look for, and finance. You know, I feel like sometimes we have this posture of we're going to sit here and if they want us, they'll find us. I don't think that anything worth getting anybody got in that way. We have to have a national development bank that will chase business, will find high growth ideas and will finance them, that will provide advisory services, accelerators and incubators, programs for transition to clean energy and the environment, that will have all of these instruments for small business development and entrepreneurship in one place, and that will focus on profitability and growth. Because if you don't require companies to grow, they never will. And some of the things that I'm saying may sound like a challenge to the small business sector, and if it sounds like a challenge to the small business sector and to those who make their living speaking on behalf of that sector, it is. Because we cannot do the same thing over and over and expect to get different results. And so, my first challenge this evening is for such a development bank to now come into existence fully and properly and well, run like a development bank, with other kinds of instruments apart from loans, and with a view towards profitability and productivity and growth so that more people can be employed.